thank you very much for that introduction. I'm to receive an award here, but they asked me to make some remarks. And I want you to know, as I accept this award, I accept it for all of you who have for so long kept the faith, kept the banner high, and showed great courage. Patrick Murphy, for whom you all stood and cheered properly. Patrick Murphy himself, a man of great courage, who was the spark plug for this legislation, and who never lost faith and never dropped the baton. Thank you, Patrick Murphy. Chris Matthews, thank you for your leadership on this issue. Thank you for emceeing tonight. I know my friend, I met Kathleen in the back who's with Chris now. She's a terrific lady. We know her well. Barney Frank, my friend, he and I were elected just a little apart, 5 months apart, to the Congress of the United States. Shelley Pingree, one of our newest members, but one of our most effective members as well. Clarion Riddle, who's sitting at my table, who's representing Senator Lieberman here tonight. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, because I'm speaking before dinner, I want to be relatively brief. I want to read a letter, or a portion of a letter that I received from a constituent. Congressman Hoyer, I joined the Army Reserve's Officer Training Corps last year after President Obama reaffirmed his campaign pledge to end Don't Ask, Don't Tell. I've always known that I wanted to serve my country in the armed forces, but one thing was always holding me back. I'm gay. He went on to write, I've been open about that part of my life since high school, and I was not willing to go back into the closet. But after the president promised to end that, I decided to finally join ROTC, hopeful that I would not have to hide my sexuality for long. I quickly realized I had made the right choice. Although I was a new recruit, I was already in the top of my class of cadet privates, first class in land navigation. But it became increasingly difficult to hide such an important part of who I am. And after learning about the continual delays in Congress, I decided I needed to quit ROTC until the ban was fully repealed. I spent this past semester studying abroad in Amman, Jordan, and I will spend next semester in Cairo. I have an invaluable experience abroad. I'm an advanced Arabic speaker. I'm an A student at a top national university. Most importantly, I want to serve my country. When I can serve openly, I will finish my ROTC and be commissioned as an officer in the U.S. Army. And there are many others like me. I've met them. So please, do whatever you can to repeal Don't Ask, Don't Tell. I was honored to join so many of you in this room who I know, and so many more who I do not know, in accomplishing that objective. Because of the hard work of the people in this room, that young man has a future of serving his country ahead of him, just as so many of you have done. And just as importantly, our country will have one more American soldier of whom we can all be proud. For far too long, America threw away the service of people like him simply because of who they were. 13,500 gay men and lesbians discharged under Don't Ask, Don't Tell. 13,500 who told America, I will wear your uniform with pride. I will serve with honor. I will risk my life under your flag. 13,500 who were told, no thanks. When we kick those men and women out, we build a culture of deceit in an institution that ought to be founded instead on honor and honesty. And just as importantly, we build a weaker military. We lost translators, mechanics, engineers, so many other disciplines in a time of war. In a time of war when we ought to welcome and honor service more than ever. Now, again, thanks to the efforts of so many of you in this room, those days are coming to an end. They are coming to an end because of the overwhelming opinion of our troops who supported repeal and were so often ahead of politicians on this issue. They are coming to an end because of the near unanimous experience of our allies, nations with proud military traditions, like Great Britain and Israel and others, and because of the openly gay troops who have fought side by sides with Americans in Iraq and Afghanistan. And those days are coming to an end because of what we did together. I was proud to co-sponsor with Patrick Murphy the repeal of Don't Ask, Don't Tell, and ensuring that it got a vote on the House floor. I want to mention three of my staff that were critically important in making this happen, along with Senator Lieberman's staff and Senator Collins' staff, and all of you. Rick Palacio, who has been introduced as the next chairman. Mariah Sixkiller, who handles foreign policy and international affairs. And a name you may not know, Alexis Covey-Brandt, who's the floor director now, but she was the floor director when I was the majority leader. The advantage of being majority leader is I set the schedule. I said what was going to come to the floor. I don't enjoy that privilege now, but I am so pleased that in December of last year, I was still the majority leader and could bring this bill to the floor. I was proud to stand beside Patrick Murphy, an Iraq war veteran who understands that it's wasteful and wrong to say no to the service of men and women who would take a bullet for our country simply because of their sexual orientation. He knew firsthand that willingness and courage, rather than sexual orientation, were the true test of service. I was proud to join with all of you to make the case for the patriotism, the dedication, and the courage of gay men and women in uniform, so many of whom are here, who for so long were courageous enough to say, I am gay and I am serving well and I want to serve my country. Now, repeal is law, and that is a civil rights triumph for every single American, not just for gay and lesbian Americans. This was a victory for all Americans who believe that there is a guarantee in our culture and Constitution that all men and women are created equal. Jefferson didn't say all, but he meant all. And to the extent that all is all-inclusive, we are a better country and a better people. Tonight, my friends, I'm here to urge you. Keep working. Perhaps I don't have to urge you to keep working because you've worked so hard and so long, and I think you will continue to do it. Let's monitor the transition to open service diligently. Let's ensure that it's implemented quickly, fairly, and professionally. Let's partner with our military leaders who are doing an outstanding job in educating our troops about repeal and what it means. Let's keep an eye on the process until it's done. John Lewis says, keep your eye on the prize. Non-discrimination in a free and open society is our prize. Greg Palacio is going back to Colorado, but Mariah's sixth killer and Alexis Covey Brandt will be working hard to make DOT history. Now my staff is following up, meeting with military leaders and all of you, closely following the implementation process. Let's remember, even though DAT is almost over, discrimination remains. Passing a law is not enough. We need to change minds, raise consciousness, and ensure equality. And as with every civil rights movement, we all benefit in another way, by reclaiming our history, by winning the right to tell our country's story more fully and more honestly. It's time to learn from the stories of the gay Americans who served and sacrificed for us. Not always openly, but always bravely. Some of those stories are recent history. Eric Alva, Purple Heart winner, the first American wounded in Iraq. Thank you, Eric. Marguerite Kammermeyer, for whom I campaigned for Congress. Thank you, Marguerite. Paul O'Neary, who introduced me, a nurse, a lawyer, a Navy combat veteran who has stood up against discrimination. Every one of them is living testament to service and patriotism. Mike Almey, Air Force Major, kicked out, testified before the Senate. Captain Anthony Woods at West Point, 2 tours in Iraq, Zoe Dunning, so many other names I could mention. Thank you all for the courage you showed and are showing to this very day. And ladies and gentlemen, we also know that the stories stretch much further back. As President Obama said, there's no doubt that gay Americans have fought and died in every one of our wars since America's founding. They helped us win our independence. They helped liberate Europe. They have been there in Korea, in Vietnam, in Iraq, in Afghanistan, and every confrontation, every military operation we have had. Gay and lesbian Americans have shown their courage and their bravery to win freedom for all of us. For every one of those men and women who served in silence, the repeal of DOT is about them too. Now it's time to write a new generation of stories. They will be written by young men and women, like the young man who wrote me last fall. They will serve openly and proudly. They will benefit our country and our principles. They will be leaders in the civil rights movement of our time. They will endure sacrifice and separation from their loved ones so that the rest of us don't have to. Some of them will die. Will die for their country so that the rest of us don't have to. Let's recognize their service and every American's service for the precious gift it is. Let us give every American service the honor it deserves. We said that in our Declaration of Independence that all men are created equal and endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights. And among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. But those rights are not self-executing. They need our daily attention. We need to grow them, to spread them to all the corners of our country and indeed the world, to make sure that that beacon of freedom, that beacon of liberty and justice, which was not as bright then, although the words were compelling, as it is today, because almost every year, every decade, every century, we have made that dream a better dream, a more realized dream. When we passed Don't Ask, Don't Tell, and we repealed it for all time, we made America a better place. God bless you and Godspeed.